So when the Boden Essential was announced, I needed to know if the most affordable model that Strandberg have ever produced could really hold its own against the super innovative guitars that they're known for, or whether this thing's just all hype. Well, I've been playing this a ton since I unboxed it, and dude, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. Even though this version of the Boden cuts down on the price by a significant margin, not a lot's been sacrificed to make it easier on the wallet. In fact, there's been one addition to this guitar that, by the way other manufacturers price their instruments, it should make it more expensive. It's got everything that you'd expect from a Boden, including the super ergonomic body shape that really became the bar for headless guitars. Thank because what even are Steinbergers? It's got the endure neck profile for peak left hand comfort and reduced stress on your joints, and Strandberg designed hardware to keep everything solid as a rock while you're playing and easy to maintain while you're not. This is a proper Boden experience, dude. It's not like Strandberg's version of a Squire or something like that. It's still capable of performing at the stupidly high levels the other guitars are. The things that have changed though are mainly the materials and the construction. The Essential has got a Marantz body, whereas the other models like the Prog and the original use chambered swamp ash. That doesn't make a huge amount of difference to me really, dude. It's slightly heavier than the other guitars, but when you're talking about a guitar that's been designed to be light in the first place, it's still much lighter than most other guitars that you're going to pick up. And tone wise, I'm not a Tonewood guy. You're not going to see me out in the woods listening to trees, bro. But it's still resonant, it sustains well, and it's still got the signature Strandberg sound. Signature Strandberg sound. The other material change is the roasted maple neck, which is so cool to see back on Strandbergs. We all love a roasted neck, don't we? And it's super cool to see it on the affordable model too, because when you look at other companies, they'd have you believe that roasted maple was a premium feature that you should be paying more for. But someone correct me if I'm wrong, I always thought roasted maple was cheaper because it allowed companies to use wood that they hadn't had to spend time drying out. One of the main reasons that some woods are more expensive than others is the amount of labour that's gone into getting it ready for use. So roasting it makes the whole process quicker and then the wood cheaper. That means for Strandberg, roasted maple for the more affordable model, then quarter sawn and carbon reinforced ones for the more expensive stuff. That makes a lot of sense to me, and it gives us guitar players more choice in terms of preference. I think the reason that Strandberg actually stopped using roasted maple in the first place is because of how brittle it gets after roasting, and that resulted in more breakage in the factories. There's also a rosewood board on top of this roasted maple neck, which is a cool feature, but it's something that you get on the classics anyway. The biggest change with the design of the guitar is that this has got straight frets rather than multi-scale. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but I love that this is an option. Personally, dude, I'm a big fan of the multi-scale stuff, but it's nice to see this as an option for the people who are a little bit wary of it, so that they can actually get a Strandberg in their hands and see if they like it. The change to straight frets does affect the hardware though. The new EGS ARC hardware is cast zinc, whereas the EGS Rev 7 stuff that's on the other models is all milled aircraft grade aluminium, and there is a difference in quality there. It's not enough to complain about, but it is obvious that this is an area where costs have been brought down to make the guitar more affordable, and that's just how it is. We all get that if you want a cheaper guitar, then some sacrifices have got to be made. Overall though, considering you've got the same level of construction and finishing, stainless steel frets and glowy side dots, as well as some awesome Strandberg pickups, then what Strandberg have done for the money is fucking great actually. Strandberg is all about playability. It's the entire idea that's led Ola to be so inventive in a space that tends to rehash the same old stuff year after year. All that work is clear to see through the entire Strandberg line, including the Essential. Obviously there's a place for tradition in guitar, absolutely, but I cannot stress enough just how much I love playing these guitars, and this is exactly that experience. However you like to sit, whether it's a more classical position or casually, you will find a way to get incredibly comfortable with this guitar, and once you're there, the endure neck will help you fretting and stay in the best position to reduce tension while you're playing and help you really get the most out of your fingers. But now for the first time on a Strandberg production model, you've got the straight frets like I mentioned earlier, and I actually really didn't know how I was going to feel about it. Being totally honest, I like it less than the multi-scale. That said, I only like it a little bit less because really it's just the same thing that we're all used to anyway. With a multi-scale Strandberg, aside from the obvious benefit of getting more balanced string tensions, the slant of the frets helps me keep my fretting hand in a more natural position, whereas the straight frets sometimes makes it feel a little bit off. It's a minor difference that doesn't impact my playing that much, but it is a preference thing, and it does show that multi-scale has a practical use if only a lot of people would give it a chance. I can't say much more about the playability, dude, otherwise it's just going to be more Strandberg glazing. This is just exactly the experience that you'd want out of a Boden. Now it's time to talk about the most surprising part of this guitar.
The OEM Strandberg pickups in this guitar kind of threw me off, dude. My only other experience with Strandberg's in-house pickups was the Sailing model, which was like the Telecaster-y shaped one. And I wasn't the biggest fan of those pickups, to be honest, so with this I was kind of expecting the same vibe. According to the product listings, both the Boden Essential and the Sailing have got the same Strandberg custom OEM humbuckers, so you'd expect the same kind of sound, but they do sound super different. I love the sound of these pickups, dude. They're punchy, clear, and they really work super hard to enhance the sound that you get from these guitars. The tight response that you get from this guitar is such a great thing to hear, because I thought this would be the area that let it down, but actually it's the complete opposite. My original plan was to mod this guitar. I thought this guitar was going to be a really solid platform for me to drop in some new pickups, refinish it, and try and earn a Boden that no one else has got. The thing is, the more I've played it, the more I've realised there's absolutely no need to do any work to this guitar at all, because it already sounds and plays great. It's already got everything you could possibly need. The Strandberg 5-way is still there with all the really interesting pickup splits and selections, and it translates super well through these pickups. Honestly, it really is a guitar that can do everything you'd want it to. Despite that, I am still going to mod it, not because I've got to, but because I want to. The fact that you can get this guitar for about $1,000 and still be blessed with a full Strandberg experience is crazy to me. I honestly thought this was going to feel more like an affordable version of the Boden, but actually it can really hang with its older siblings. It's that fact that makes this my favourite guitar I got this year. For the money, Strandberg have done everything they possibly could to make their affordable model on par with the guitars that already made their name. It's not a gateway instrument or a fucking half-assed attempt to sell more guitars. It's the real deal. It's got the full playability, the look, and everything you could possibly want out of the Boden, and they deserve a massive amount of respect for giving it everything they could. I mean, yeah, you're not getting all the premium bells and whistles like aircraft grade aluminium or saw pickups, but like, what would you expect from the Essential model? The naming is bang on in my opinion, dude. You get the Essential Boden features, and it's the Essential headless guitar for people who want to try out a Strandberg at an affordable price. Essentially, I love it. Essentially, I think it's sick, dude.